304 स्टील के लिए है ही नहीं। फिर तुम जाओगे मैनेजर के पास, सर आपने बोला होमोजीनियस वेल्डिंग करो, मटेरियल मेरा 304 है, लेकिन ये परसेंटेज इलोंगेशन तो किसी और मेटल का है, तो होमोजीनियस कैसे होगा? परसेंटेज इलोंगेशन स्टेनलेस स्टील के बराबर है ही नहीं इसमें। तो this element it helps to identify what is the metal, what is the electrode metal which is being used. Based on that you can find out whether it is a homogeneous welding or heterogeneous welding or what.
सर होमोजीनियस नहीं होगा तो क्या क्या दिक्कत होगा? होमोजीनियस नहीं हुआ
दिक्कत तो डिपेंड करता है ना कि एप्लीकेशन क्या चाहते हो तुम। फॉर एग्जांपल स्टेनलेस स्टील की वेल्डिंग करने के लिए अगर बीच का मटेरियल स्टेनलेस स्टील नहीं होगा तो उसका थर्मल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स डिफरेंट होगा। तो मान लो बीच का मटेरियल तुम्हारा कॉपर है, स्टेनलेस स्टील को तुम ज्वाइन कर रहे हो कॉपर से, तो पहली बात तो है कि स्टेनलेस स्टील और कॉपर के बीच का जो जॉइंट है वो उतना अच्छा नहीं होगा। मींस कॉपर इज अ सॉफ्टवेयर मटेरियल देन स्टेनलेस स्टील, तो जो जॉइंट कैन इजीली फेल। सो दिस इज वन थिंग। क्रिटिकल एप्लीकेशंस, फॉर एग्जांपल अगर तुम बॉयलर बना रहे हो और तुम्हारे पास स्टेनलेस स्टील का तुम्हारा वो है, बॉयलर का बॉडी है, उसको ज्वाइन करने के लिए तुम कॉपर वगैरह तो यूज नहीं कर सकते। मैंने बताया था ना आइडियल वेल्डिंग क्या होती है। आइडियल वेल्डिंग, देयर शुड नॉट बी एनी डिसकंटिन्यूटी बिटवीन द वेल्डेड पोर्शन एंड द बेस मेटल। सो इफ इट इज नॉट अ होमोजीनियस वेल्डिंग देन देयर विल बी अ डिसकंटिन्यूटी, प्रॉपर्टीज डिफरेंट हो जाएंगे तुम्हारे वेल्डेड जॉइंट के, फेलियर होने के चांसेस ज्यादा हो जाएंगे। तो इसलिए होमोजीनियस वेल्डिंग, क्रिटिकल एप्लीकेशंस में होमोजीनियस वेल्डिंग ही प्रेफर करते हैं, जिससे कि हमारा जो मैकेनिकल प्रॉपर्टी वो सेम रहे पूरे जगह पे। अब डिजाइन के क्वेश्चंस किए होंगे तुम लोगों ने, वहां पे हम एज्यूम करते हैं ना कि मटेरियल इज आइसोट्रोपिक एंड मटेरियल प्रॉपर्टीज आर सेम थ्रू आउट। तो वेल्डिंग करने में अगर हमारा होमोजीनियस नहीं रहेगा तो हमारा वो एजम्पशन तो बहुत बुरी तरीके से फेल हो जाएगा वो एजम्पशन। फिर हमारे कैलकुलेशंस गलत हो जाएंगे। फिर कैलकुलेट करके देखोगे हमारा बॉयलर तो सेफ है, और फिर बॉयलर में गर्म पानी आया, कॉपर मेल्ट होकर फट गया बॉयलर। फिर अखबार में न्यूज आ जाएगा कि सनसनीखेज वारदात हो गया कुछ। ठीक है, तो होमोजीनियस वेल्ड इसलिए इंपॉर्टेंट होता है। क्रिटिकल एप्लीकेशंस में तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, लैब वगैरह में कोई उतना मैटर नहीं करता नॉन क्रिटिकल एप्लीकेशंस में। लेकिन क्रिटिकल एप्लीकेशंस में क्योंकि हम जो कैलकुलेशंस करते हैं पार्ट को डिजाइन करने के लिए, उसके जो मैकेनिकल प्रॉपर्टीज होती हैं, अगर होमोजीनियस वेल्डिंग नहीं होगा तो मैकेनिकल प्रॉपर्टीज यूनिफॉर्म नहीं बचेगा, फिर कैलकुलेशन में बहुत प्रॉब्लम आएगा। और अगर बिना प्रॉब्लम के कैलकुलेशन कर दोगे तो गलत हो जाएगा, तो वो प्रॉब्लम होगा थोड़ा सा। बोलो।
Yes, sir.
और कोई डाउट किसी को?
सर ये जिसमें वो करंट का स्पेसिफिकेशन दिया रहता है सर, उसमें
हाँ।
एसी करंट से भी वेल्डिंग का कोई वो सिस्टम है क्या? मतलब इज देयर एनी कोड फॉर एसी, बिकॉज़ दीस आर फॉर DC only.
DC only. See, this particular system of coding, no, which we are discussing, this IS 814-1991 codes, these are specific to DC electrodes only.
अच्छा अच्छा।
So एज अ मतलब बोलने के लिए बोल रहा हूं मैं, जहां पे ये रहता है ना कि यू कैन यूज आइदर DCEP और DCEN, मोस्ट ऑफ दे आर बेटर सुटेड फॉर यूजिंग थ्रू AC. सो बट दिस इज मैं लेमैन्स नॉलेज दे रहा हूं मैं, ऐसा होता नहीं है, मतलब टेक्निकली मतलब बुक्स में ऐसा नहीं होता। लेकिन अगर ऐसा इलेक्ट्रोड है जहां पे पॉजिटिव नेगेटिव कुछ भी यूज कर सकते हो, दे आर बेटर सुटेड फॉर यूजिंग AC सप्लाई। But as per means as per the book, if you go by the book, then only DC. This particular code is only for DC. Codes है नहीं, so maybe some separate codes will be there.
Okay.
और बोलो, और कोई डाउट किसी को? नहीं है? चलिए फिर अगला शुरू करते हैं। तो इज अमेरिकन वेल्डिंग सोसाइटी कोडिंग सिस्टम, इसको हम AWS सिस्टम भी बोल। हाँ बोलो, कोई डाउट किसी को? बोलो, कुछ बोल रहे हैं?
स्लाइड नंबर 13
हाँ बोलो
सर। वो एक बार उससे क्वेश्चन था, कैन आई सी दैट वंस?
तुम्हारा आवाज थोड़ा सा ब्रेक हो रहा है यार, दोबारा बोलो।
इस
क्या?
इस स्लाइड नहीं था सर, 11th में था सर, सॉरी सर।
11th में? हाँ सुना है तुम्हारा ना, आवाज ब्रेक हो रहा है, मैसेज कर दो यहाँ पे या तो ग्रुप में, मैं डाउट ही नहीं सुन पा रहा क्या बोल रहे हो। 11th स्लाइड मैंने ओपन करके रखा है, बता दो क्या है।
सर फिजिक्स वाला जो है, इलेक्ट्रोड में डिफरेंस क्या होता है, लाइक हाउ दे आर डिफरेंट नंबरिंग, मतलब what is the
Okay, why number 1 is suited for all position, why number 2 is only for all position except vertical? What is the difference? See,
Yes,
the
sir.
difference in the electrode manufacturing, the difference is reflected in that point. Means if it is an all position welding, means flat, horizontal, vertical, overhead, any type of welding can be done. It means that the electrode flux which is there, it will release a lot of shielding gas. The electrode wire which is being melted, its viscosity will be sort of high so that it will not fall back very easily. So flux covering, the composition of the flux which will guard that electrode, and the composition of the electrode wire material. This is what which is. So that's why. Conversely,
Thank you,
कर
sir.
सकते हैं हम लोग कि हम इलेक्ट्रोड मटेरियल को आइडेंटिफाई करके फिर उसकी प्रॉपर्टीज निकालें कि उसकी विस्कोसिटी कितनी है मोल्टन स्टेट में, और उसकी फ्लूइडिटी कितनी है, ट्रांसफर कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स क्या है. उससे थोड़ा बेटर ये है कि ये थर्ड डिजिट देके ये बोल दिया कि इसको बस इस पोजीशन के लिए फाइंड यूज करो. ये पोजीशन फाइंड आउट कैसे हुआ? अलग अलग मटेरियल को वेल्डिंग सोसाइटी ने अलग अलग मटेरियल्स ट्राई किए, फिर देखा कि ये जो पर्टिकुलर मटेरियल है फ्लैट के लिए अच्छा है, फिर उसका एक पर्टिकुलर कोड दिया, देखा कि ये जो पर्टिकुलर कॉम्पोजिशन है इसको कहीं भी किसी भी तरीके की पोजीशन में वेल्डिंग कर लो, फिर इसको बोला कि इसका थर्ड डिजिट फर्स्ट होना चाहिए, 1 होना चाहिए, मतलब सुटेबल फॉर एनी वेल्डिंग प्रोसेस. सो दैट्स व्हाट फ्लक्स कॉम्पोजिशन, मेटल का कॉम्पोजिशन, सॉरी इलेक्ट्रोड मटेरियल का कॉम्पोजिशन, इन दोनों चीजों के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है कि किन किन पोजीशन में हम इसको यूज कर सकते
Okay, sir.
हैं. आई होप डाउट समझ में आया तुमको. मेरे को तुम्हारा क्वेश्चन इतना ही समझ में आया, मैंने जितना बताया.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
अच्छा, यही था.
Thank you, sir.
चलो. So American Welding Society, before going into American Welding Society classification, you should forget whatever you have learned about BIS. Forget means don't completely erase, but don't try to correlate कि BIS में ऐसा था, AWS में ऐसा है, ऐसा क्यों है. Don't try to just it in that fashion, but you should realize that AWS is a separate system of coding which has been done by separate group of people at a separate point of time using separate set of standards. So American standard, they are using some other standards. They are using FPS system, foot, pounds and second system, right? We are using MKS system, meter, kilo, second. So our standards will of course be different. Also the BIS classification which we have seen just now, BIS is a more extensive sort of classification, but AWS classification you will realize it is very, very simple. And since we are starting it, maybe we'll be able to complete it also. It is very simple system. So there is a prefix E, which stands for that the electrode which is there, it is to be used for arc welding. So E for arc welding electrode. There is a 4-digit number. So the first 2 digits of a 4-digit number or the first 3 digit of a 5-digit number indicates the minimum tensile strength. Indicates the minimum tensile strength of the joint. Means whatever joint you are making, how much will be the tensile strength. So I'll just clarify. There will be a prefix. It will be followed by either a 4-digit number or a 5-digit number. So if it is a 4-digit number, so the first 2 digits indicate the tensile strength, or if it is a 5-digit number, the first 3 digits indicate the tensile strength, right? The minimum tensile strength of the electrode. Tensile strength is given in PSI. They are using pounds per square inch. We are using Newton per millimeter square. So at this point, you should also remember this is the tensile strength of the electrode. Previously, that was the tensile strength of the bead deposit. So that's why I said don't try to mix the two. You just see it see this as a standalone system, right? There will be a prefix E. E for arc welding electrode. E will be followed by either a 4-digit number or a 5-digit number. If it is a 4-digit number, the first 2 element, the first 2 digit, it indicates the tensile strength in PSI. If it is a 3-digit number, it indicates the tensile strength in PSI. Okay. The next to last digit indicates the position. So for this position, we'll see in the next slide, we'll see there is a chart. And the last digit, it indicates the type of coating and the correct polarity or the current which is to be used. So we can see here the American Welding Society system of coding. It has different elements. There is a prefix, there is a 4-digit number. So 4-digit number, the first 2 digit, if it is a 5-digit number, if it is a 4-digit number, the first 2 digit indicate the tensile strength, the second last digit indicates the position, and the last digit indicates the current and the polarity which is to be used. If it is a 5-digit number, the first 3 digits indicate the tensile strength, the second last digit indicates the position, and the last digit indicates the type of coating and the polarity which is to be used. Okay, and this is the chart for the last 2 digits. So if the last digit is 0, then the type of coating is this, the welding current is this, last digit is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. From 0 to 8, this is a chart which is to be referred. So you should remember the prefix will always be E. The digits, the combination of digit, it will be either a 4-digit number or a 5-digit number. The second last digit will always be 1, 2, or 4. And the last digit can be any number from 0 to 8. So significance of 1, 2, and 4 is given here. Significance of 0 to 8 is given here. It tells you about the type of coating and the type of polarity which is to be used. So someone asked from you, maybe Rishabh asked that whether AC current can be used or not. So here you can see AWS gives you the type of electrode for AC polarity. And also you can see that most of the times AC is used for those electrodes which can be used in either DC positive or DC negative, means either of the polarity DC EP or DC EN, जहाँ पे दोनों में से कोई सा भी एक यूज कर सकते हैं, AC उसी के लिए suitable होता है most of the times. बाकी for some other classes they are using some other type of electrodes. Okay.
सर ऐसा है कि इंडिया में क्या एसी से वेल्डिंग नहीं करते, ऐसा होता है क्या? मतलब शायद इसलिए नहीं
ऐसा होता भी है, और लेकिन ऐसा मतलब बोल नहीं सकते. मैं जो टेक्निकली करेक्ट आंसर ये है कि जो BIS सिस्टम ऑफ क्लासिफिकेशन है,
they don't give the liberty to.
हाँ, वो ऐसे इलेक्ट्रोड्स के लिए है जिनके लिए हम एसी यूज ही नहीं करते.
अच्छा.
इंडिया में एसी यूज करते हैं कि नहीं, ये बोलना थोड़ा बहुत बड़ी बात हो जाएगी. बड़ा है ना, तो कर सकते हैं, लेकिन इंडिया में मतलब BIS के उस पर्टिकुलर कोड में एसी का स्कोप नहीं है, AWS में लेकिन है. अब इससे क्या पता चलता है वो तुम देखो कि क्या समझ में आ रहा है. ठीक है, ये इलेक्ट्रोड फोटो है, केवल फोटो ही है, इससे तो पता नहीं कुछ समझ में आएगा कि भी नहीं. फोटो है, मतलब ऐसा होता है. आपने जो इलेक्ट्रोड देखा होगा लैब्स वगैरह में वो यही वाला देखा होगा, क्योंकि ज्यादातर हम लोग AWS वाले इलेक्ट्रोड ही यूज करते हैं. ये वाला इलेक्ट्रोड देखो इस पर्टिकुलर लोकेशन में E6010. E6010 मतलब आर्क वेल्डिंग के लिए यूज होगा. 60 मतलब 60,000 PSI उसका स्ट्रेंथ है. 1 मतलब, यहाँ पे देखते हैं 1 मतलब क्या. 1 मतलब ऑल पोजिशन इलेक्ट्रोड, और 0 मतलब DC पॉजिटिव में यूज करना है. तो यहाँ पे देखो दूसरा एग्जांपल E6013. 6013 मतलब आर्क वेल्डिंग के लिए यूज हो रहा है ये जो इलेक्ट्रोड है. 60 क्योंकि ये 4 डिजिट का है नंबर, तो पहले 2 एलिमेंट देखेंगे इसमें. तो फर्स्ट 2 एलिमेंट मींस द टेंसाइल स्ट्रेंथ. इलेक्ट्रोड का टेंसाइल स्ट्रेंथ 60,000 PSI है. 1 का मतलब ऑल पोजिशन वेल्डिंग कर सकते हैं. 3 का मतलब देखते हैं यहाँ से. 3 का मतलब जो इलेक्ट्रोड है उसमें हाई टाइटेनियम और हाई पोटेशियम है. Can be used with either AC or DC positive. ठीक है, so this is what is meant from the AWS system of classification. AWS सिस्टम का क्लासिफिकेशन बहुत ही सिंपल है, तो इसके बेसिस पे हम ये चीजें फाइंड आउट कर सकते हैं. चलो, AWS में किसी को कोई डाउट है तो बोलो.
सर वो टेंसाइल स्ट्रेंथ जो है आपको बोले कि वो दोनों में कुछ अलग है, उसमें BIS और इसमें I could not catch that. वो एक जगह आपने शायद ऐसा कुछ बोला था.
अमेरिकन सिस्टम में जो टेंसाइल स्ट्रेंथ है वो PSI में स्पेसिफाई करते हैं, AWS में 60,000 PSI, और हमारे वाले में हम लोग क्या करते हैं, न्यूटन पर मिलीमीटर स्क्वायर में स्पेसिफाई करते हैं. यहाँ पे देखो न्यूटन पर मिलीमीटर स्क्वायर, क्योंकि जो इंडियन सिस्टम है वो MKS सिस्टम पे काम करता है, और जो अमेरिकन सिस्टम है वो PSI पे काम करता है. बस ये है इसका, यही कहना चाह रहा था. ठीक है, और कोई डाउट?
सर 0 to 8 वाला कौन सा है सर? ये उस वाले में ये जो आपने दिखाया एक एग्जांपल,
ये हमारा जो एग्जांपल है उसमें 3 है. तो 3 में देखो हाई टाइटेनिया पोटेशियम और AC और DC पॉजिटिव। तो जो हमारा इलेक्ट्रोड कोटिंग है वो टाइटेनिया और पोटेशियम में रिच है, मतलब इट इज मोर, मतलब ज्यादा है उसका जो कंटेंट। और DCEP मतलब DC इलेक्ट्रोड पॉजिटिव, और AC किसी में भी यूज कर सकते हैं उसका। DC पॉजिटिव मतलब इलेक्ट्रोड पॉजिटिव, रिवर्स पोलैरिटी।
Yes.
ठीक है, और कोई? Digit is prefix which is E, which stands for arc welding electrode, which is to be used for arc welding. It is followed by either a 4-digit number or a 5-digit number. If it is a 4-digit number, the first 2 digits they correspond to the tensile strength, and if it is a 5-digit number, then the first 3 digits they correspond to the tensile strength of the electrode. The tensile strength in case of AWS system, it is given in PSI. Right, for Indian system, BIS system, the tensile strength is given in Newton per millimeter square. So first 2 digit and 3 digits are done, then we are left with last 2 digit. So the second last digit, it can either be 1 or 2 or 4. If it is 1, it means it can be used for all position welding. If it is 2, then it is to be used for flat and horizontal positions only. And if it is 4, then it can be used for flat, horizontal, vertical down and overhead welding positions. Okay, and the last digit, it indicates the type of coating and the polarity and the current which is to be used, right? So the last digit, it can be any number from 0 to 8, and the corresponding significance of these numbers, these are shown in the chart here, which you could have seen already. This is just a representative image of the electrode. These are the type of commercially available electrodes. Mostly these electrodes are seen in welding labs. Even in industries also you will find similar to this. Only difference, in the labs we don't go for thick electrodes. Most of the times we don't go for thick electrodes, means the diameter of the electrode wire is not very high. Very high means not more than 5 millimeters, definitely not more than 1 centimeter, right? And the coating thickness is also quite less only in case of laboratory purposes. In industrial applications, based on the type of requirement, you can have different type of thicknesses. Okay, so this example we have seen different elements of the AWS system. E for welding electrode, so 4-digit number. So the first 2 digit, it indicates the tensile strength of the electrode wire material, which is 60,000 psi. Then 1 stands for all position welding, and 3 means the electrode coating is rich in titanium and potassium, and it can be used for DCEP as well as AC polarity also. So that was all for AWS system. So today we'll finish the other portions of the electrode. So today we'll discuss about what are the various functions of flux. Functions of flux we have seen previously also, just a brief recap. So functions of flux should provide arc stability. Flux should provide protection to the metal droplet during deposition. So arc stability, how the flux can provide, it will have some element which can aid in the formation of the arc, which can stabilize the arc, and so on, elements like TiO2. Similarly, the flux, once the flux is in during the arc welding process, the flux will dissociate and it will release huge amounts of gas. So those gases will give protection to the metal droplet during the deposition. Flux should also deoxidize the weld metal. Ideally, the flux should have some element which should preferentially combine with oxygen, so that the oxygen should not combine with the base metal and does not form any oxide. Otherwise, it will make the joint weak. So the flux should have some element which will combine with the oxygen. It will form an oxide and it will float on the top. From there, it can be chipped out, or it can be ground also, right? Flux should dissolve any solute gases present. Flux should protect the weld metal. Protect the weld metal means the flux will form a slag, which will form a solid covering on top of the deposited weld metal, and it will prevent its further oxidation. And flux can also be a means to transfer alloying elements. This I've also discussed previously also so many times, that if at all you want to add some alloying elements into the weld and you cannot change the composition of the electrode wire material, then you can add very small amounts, you can make it part of the flux, so that when the flux dissociates or melts, some alloying elements can enter the weld zone. So functions of flux in detail we have seen previously, so I'm not discussing it too much right now. I'll move on to the types of electrode fluxes. This type of electrode fluxes we have not seen previously. So there are few basic types of electrode fluxes. This you should remember from the BIS system of electrode classification. While we were seeing, we saw that there are acidic coating, basic coating, cellulosic coating, and so on. So cellulosic coating, this type of covering, whenever cellulosic coatings are there, the main purpose is to generate lot of gases. We're not concerned with any other types. Of course, it may still function in other areas also, but its main function is to provide shielding. So cellulose, it will disintegrate and it will generate a lot of shielding, cellulosic coating. So such type, if you use such type of electrode, then the slag will be less. It produces less slag, but large amount of gases. So that the shielding is proper, right? So using such type of coating generally results in fine grained metal deposition. Means since the slag is not being formed, so the weld which has been deposited, it will cool very rapidly since slag is not there. If the slag was there, then the heat exclusion from the weld metal will be very slow. Therefore, it will remain in a hot state for a longer time. But if cellulosic coatings are there, so slag will be less. Since slag covering is not that much, therefore it will cool very rapidly, very easily, in a very fast manner. If it cools very fast, then the grain of the weld metal, it will be fine grained metal deposition. This is a characteristic of cellulosic coating. For DC power, the flux composition uses sodium silicate as the binder, while for AC power, potassium silicate is used as a binder. This just is, it is being done. I don't have any proper justification why DC uses sodium silicate and AC uses potassium silicate.
सर ये IC में भी प्रॉब्लम ये क्या है?
ये HIC होना चाहिए यार. HIC may be a problem.
अच्छा.
And induced cracking may be a problem in case of cellulosic coating. Because cellulose, it will prevent any atmospheric contamination, but whatever is there inside the weld metal and those things, that may be a problem. Of course, nowadays it is not that much of an issue, but still cellulosic coating can give very proper shielding, but it will be a very fine grained material, and since cooling is very fast, so the inclusions, whatever inclusions are there, they won't get time to move out. So the inclusions may be a problem, which may lead to HIC, which is hydrogen induced cracking. So as I told you previously, hydrogen, specifically we focus on hydrogen because it is the main culprit. It can cause a lot of problem. There are other gases also which may create a problem. That's why I have written, I had written IC, means induced cracking, but HIC also is correct. Hydrogen induced cracking is more prevalent. Okay, next type of electrode flux is rutile flux. Rutile is also called as titania, also known as TiO2, which is the chemical name. It produces large amount of slag, as its main function is to provide slag shielding of the deposited metal, produces a quiet arc, low spatter, and the resultant weld generally has a good appearance. These things we have seen so many times. Okay, acidic coating, they have large amounts of oxidizers and denitriders in the form of iron alloys. The resulting slag, the slag which is formed, it dissolves the basic oxides, mainly magnesium oxide, and consequently large amount of manganese is transferred to the slag. These type of coating, acidic coatings, they are specifically done for carbon manganese steels, where manganese is in large quantity. So if there is manganese, since manganese is in large quantity during the welding, if the manganese are not excluded out, means the manganese, they form some other type of compounds, and they form some other compounds, and they are part of the weld deposition, then it may create some problem in the welding also. So some manganese, they has to be precipitated out. In those cases, acidic fluxes are good, because acidic fluxes, they generate such kind of slag which readily combines with manganese oxide, and they take out the manganese, right? This lowers the viscosity of the slag and improves the appearance of the weld bead and allows all position welding. So viscosity of the slag is also an important factor. If the viscosity is very low, then the weld appearance will not be good. The slag will flow everywhere, right? If the viscosity is low, then we cannot use it for overhead welding also, because the slag, the molten slag, will not be able to hold its position. So acidic fluxes, the viscosity is low. So acidic fluxes can be used for all position welding. Then we have the basic flux, basic type of electrode flux. This results in the lowest hydrogen inclusion. Therefore, they are also called as low hydrogen electrodes. They are commonly used in welding of structural steels. The slags are highly basic in nature. The welds are highly ductile and results to cracking. and resistant to cracking since they have the lowest hydrogen cracking. Okay, so HIC, as I've told, HIC is a very common phenomena in case of arc welding. But since in case of basic fluxes, the hydrogen inclusion is lowest, therefore the chances of cracking because of more hydrogen inclusion is also very low in case of while you are using basic fluxes. And as I've mentioned, basic fluxes are used for welding of structural steels only. So mainly structural steels. So as an engineer, if you are given a structural steel for welding, then you can say that I have to go for the basic flux only. How do we measure? How do we find out whether it is a basic flux or acidic flux? This we'll discuss later. Oxide type of flux. So oxide type of flux, this is a special preparation of the flux. In the oxide type of fluxes, we have iron oxide, silica plus natural silicate. These are called as oxide coating because the molten metal, they absorbs large amount of oxygen, iron oxide or iron nitride. So those elements which can create problem, those are taken out, not the molten metal. This is the molten slag. The molten slag, they absorbs large amount of oxygen, iron oxide and iron nitride, so that those elements cannot enter the weld zone and create further problem. Right? It produces medium penetration, low spatter and good appearance. Then we have iron powder coatings. Iron powder coatings are specially designed for joining thick plates where the deposition efficiency has to be very high. Lot of molten metal has to be deposited. So we can go for iron powder coatings because the iron can melt and then it can be deposited. Right? It improves the productivity. So if you remember, in case of BIS coating, I told you that A for acidic, B for basic, C for cellulosic, R for rutile, RR for heavy rutile. In the last, I have mentioned an S, which is any other type of flux. So if it is an oxide flux or an iron powder flux, then we use S followed by some other classification, maybe S subscript O or S subscript F, like that, which means that they are not acidic, basic, cellulosic or rutile. They are something else. What something else? O for oxide, F for iron, and so on.
सर आप एक बार ये एसिडिक बेसिक वाला स्लाइड एक बार खोल सकते हो? एक चीज जस्ट मुझे लिखना था।
बोलो।
तो एक बार वो वाला स्लाइड खोलेंगे, ये एसिडिक बेसिक वाला जिसका हाँ ये वाला,
यही वाला।
हाँ हाँ ठीक है सर, लिख लिया सर, थैंक यू। आगे
अरे पीपीटी मिल जाएगा यार, लिख कर रहे हो? पीपीटी
अरे नहीं सर,
पढ़ लेना उसमें,
मिस हो जाता है।
चलो ठीक है। So constituent of flux, what should be the elements of a flux? So this you know very well. Constituent of flux, there are gas formers whose main purpose is to dissociate and release lot of gases which can create shielding so that the weld zone is protected. There are arc stabilizers which promotes arcing. So arcing will be easier using them, and they also lend some stability to the arc. Then we have slag formers, basically oxides of some form, either aluminum oxides or titanium oxides. So slag formers, they generally form the slag which floats on top of the deposited weld metal and protects it from the atmosphere. We have binders. Binders, as we know, binders are used to hold all the elements of the flux together. So mostly binders are silicates, either potassium silicates or sodium silicates. Okay, so they promote the cohesion and adhesion inside the electrode. Lubricants, as I told you, electrodes are manufactured through extrusion process. So use of lubricants are preferable, so that when you use lubricants, the extrusion is quite easier. You don't have to use a lot of pressure, you don't have to generate a lot of friction. So lubricant, it reduces the extrusion pressure and also reduces the friction requirement, and so that the electrodes are produced quite easily. You should remember that using lubricant is good, but you should not use it too much. You should not use a lot of glycerin. Then the glycerin will become main constituent inside the electrode. And during the welding, glycerin fumes will come up, and glycerin fumes are sort of poisonous. They can cause a lot of irritation to the eyes if the glycerin fumes are there. So normally after the electrode has been manufactured, they are put into a baking oven. So if any glycerin particles are there, mostly during the baking, the glycerin is fumed out. But if you use a lot of glycerin during the preparation, the glycerin will enter inside the flux thickness. So during baking, it may not come out. And during the welding, the flux will dissociate and then it will come out. And the glycerin fumes are sort of dangerous for humans also. Okay, and any sort of alloying additives. Alloying additives, I told you, any sort of alloy which you want to add, which you want to make part of the weld metal, you can add them in the flux and it will enter the weld zone. Mostly chromium is one major thing which is done. Chromium powder is mixed during the flux preparation, and then during extrusion it is applied on top of the electrode so that chromium can enter the flux. Chromium, because chromium leads to anti-corrosive properties. Chromium readily combines with oxygen and forms an oxide on top of it. This is during the operation, not during welding. If chromium is there, because stainless steel, why stainless steel is called as stainless steel? Because it does not form stains. Stains, where will stains come? Stains will come because of corrosion. So SS does not corrode. Why SS does not corrode? Because chromium is there. Chromium readily forms oxide with the atmospheric oxygen, and a very thin layer is formed on top of the SS items so that the oxygen cannot penetrate deep inside. That's why it remains stainless. That's why you call it as stainless steel. Last thing, the basicity index. There was one scientist named Giuliani. He gave this equation for calculating the acidity or the basicity of the flux. This is, since it is part of his syllabus, we are discussing it. Practically, if you ask, this does not have that much implications. But of course, this is something which we should know, whether our electrode is an acidic electrode or whether our electrode is neutral or basic. Because for some applications, for example, for welding of structural steels, I told you have to use a basic electrode. So most of the times you will be knowing what sort of electrode you have been given. But if you don't know, if you are working in a lab and you want to designate the electrode, so you have to use this equation, right? So basicity index is given by ratio of these two. So calcium oxide plus magnesium oxide, barium oxide, strontium oxide, sodium oxide, potassium oxide, lithium oxide, calcium fluoride, and half of manganese oxide plus iron oxide divided by SiO2 plus half of aluminum oxide, titanium oxide, zirconium oxide. Now, how did this equation come? I do not know. Why these calcium, magnesium, barium, strontium, these are in the numerator, why these are in denominator, I don't know. But this equation you have to use. You have to remember these elements, these are weight percentage. Means calcium oxide means the weight percentage of calcium oxide inside the flux. Similarly, weight percentage of magnesium oxide and so on. Using this, we can calculate how much is our acidity of the flux or how much is the basicity of the flux. And based on that, we can designate. Because of course, as an engineer, as a layman, we may not be needing to calculate this, but someone may be calculating it somewhere, right? In the labs or somewhere. So if anyone asks you, how do you find out whether the electrode is acidic or basic or neutral? You should tell him that Giuliani equation we will use. Ideally, you should remember the Giuliani equation also. But if, for example, in interview, they ask, how do you calculate basicity index? So you should tell Giuliani equation is there. We can find it in ASTM handbook. This you can always say. Ideally, you should remember it also. So this finishes the electrodes and the related discussion. Next, we will discuss the welding arc. Welding arc we have discussed a little previously also, but we'll discuss it. Whatever portions we have not discussed previously, we'll discuss it in this this course. Any doubts are there regarding coding or electrode, this fluxes and all? You can ask whatever doubts are there, and then we'll see if time is left. We'll start with the new one.
Sir,
Bolo.
hello, sir.
Arey, bolo.
Cellulose flux results in fine grain due to higher cooling rate. Higher cooling rate क्यों होता है?
क्योंकि सेलुलोज फ्लक्स का मेन काम है कि वो खुद डिसोसिएट होकर बहुत सारा गैस रिलीज करेगा. उसका काम ये नहीं है कि वो स्लैग बनाएगा. स्लैग बनाता है तो बहुत ही पतला लेयर बनाता है स्लैग का. तो सेलुलोसिक फ्लक्स में स्लैग नहीं बनता. अब स्लैग नहीं बनता इसका मतलब ये है कि वेल्ड मेटल के ऊपर कोई लेयर नहीं है. वेल्ड मेटल के ऊपर लेयर नहीं है मतलब उसके अंदर का जो हीट है वेल्डिंग हो जाने के बाद स्लैग नहीं है उसके ऊपर, तो उसके अंदर का जो हीट था वो एटमॉस्फेयर में बहुत आसानी से निकल जाएगा, यानी कि उसकी कूलिंग रैपिड होगी कंपेयर्ड टू दैट केस इन विच स्लैग इज फॉर्म. एक जगह स्लैग है, एक जगह स्लैग नहीं है, तो जहां पे स्लैग नहीं वो जल्दी ठंडा होगा. जल्दी ठंडा होगा तो उसका जो ग्रेन साइज है उसका ग्रेन ग्रोथ कम रहेगा, इसलिए वो फाइन ग्रेन स्ट्रक्चर बनेगा. ये एक्सपेरिमेंट पता नहीं आप लोग करते हो कि नहीं, लेकिन नॉर्मली करते हैं ये. वेल्डिंग करने के बाद एक में स्लैग बना के रखते हैं, एक का स्लैग हटा देते हैं, एक को हवा मतलब ब्लोअर से ठंडा करते हैं, एक को तेल में डाल के ठंडा करते हैं, एक को और फिर सभी का क्रॉस सेक्शन काट के फिर देखते हैं कि और फिर सभी. हाँ बोलो. हाँ
Sir, can you explain the mechanism of arc stabilization?
Arc stability, when we will be discussing the arc physics and all, maybe I'll discuss that time. If it is okay with you, it will be easier to explain that time.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Very briefly, I will try to explain now also if you want, because arc stability, how does arc starts? You have an electrode, you have a base metal, you attach some polarity to the electrode, you attach a polarity to the base metal, then you switch on the supply. When the applied voltage is very high, electrode will come out from the tip of your electrode wire. These electrons will move into the space between the electrode tip and the base metal. While the electrons are moving, it will ionize the gases in between them, in between that gap between the electrode wire and the base metal, ionize the gases. So ionized gases will further increase the conductivity of the air gap, and more electrodes will come up. So arc stabilization means the electrodes are being forced out from the tip of the electrode wire. But if you use some arc stabilizers, so electrons will come up from the flux also. Since more number of electrons are coming, the gas will be keep on getting ionized throughout the welding process. Of course, the gas will be ionized due to the electrode wire also. But if you use titania and some other arc stabilizers, so flux will also help in that process. So when the flux is helping in that process, so the chances of a better arc and a stable arc is higher. That's why arc stable. That's how arc stabilizers function. ये बोर्ड होता थोड़ा और अच्छे से हो पाता है.
सर लास्ट दिन आप जैसे स्पेस वेल्डिंग वगैरह बोल रहे थे, उसमें मतलब आर्क स्टेबलाइजर से कोई काम नहीं होता?
कौन सा वेल्डिंग?
आप जैसे बोल रहे थे ना स्पेस वेल्डिंग वगैरह.
स्पेस वेल्डिंग, हाँ. स्पेस में यार वैक्यूम है ना, तो आर्क को डिस्टेबलाइज करने वाला कोई होता नहीं वहां पे. और अगर तुम इलेक्ट्रॉन बीम वेल्डिंग से, क्योंकि स्पेस वेल्डिंग में मोस्टली इलेक्ट्रॉन बीम वेल्डिंग यूज करते हैं इलेक्ट्रॉन गन से, और इलेक्ट्रॉन गन में वोल्टेज हम इतना ज्यादा अप्लाई करके रखते हैं कि उसमें आर्क डिस्टेबलाइज होने का चांस भी बहुत कम होता है. सो वहां पे आर्क को डिस्टेबलाइज करने के फैक्टर्स बहुत कम है एक्चुअली. स्पेस वेल्डिंग में प्रॉब्लम ये होता है कि जहां पे वेल्डिंग कर रहे हो, जो मोल्टन मेटल है वो ग्रेविटी तो है नहीं ना, तो वो यहाँ वहां कहीं भी भाग जाता है. तो वो एक बड़ा चैलेंज है स्पेस वेल्डिंग में. वेल्डिंग तो कर लो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, डिस्टेबलाइज कोई कुछ करेगा नहीं, लेकिन जो मेटल मेल्ट हुआ वो चिपक के रहेगा या उड़ के आएगा ड्रॉपलेट बन के, फिर आके ऑक्सीजन टैंक को छेद कर देगा, ये कुछ समझ नहीं आता. तो वो दिक्कत ज्यादा है वहां पे. स्पेस वेल्डिंग यहाँ पे डिस्कस नहीं कर रहे यार, ये वो बहुत ही वास्ट टॉपिक है और कुछ ज्यादा इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक है वो, तो अपना सिलेबस तो नहीं हो पाएगा. थोड़ा पढ़ के देखो, मेरे को भी बताओ क्या पढ़ रहे हो, मैं भी पढ़ के देखूंगा, फिर डिस्कस करके देखेंगे. चलो और कोई? बोलो सर, बातचीत करते रहो, कुछ कुछ पूछते रहो. कोई डाउट नहीं है तो फिर अगले में चले, अगला टॉपिक स्टार्ट करें फिर. So from this discussion, I hope now you know about electrode coding. So next time when you go for welding, when you see an electrode, try to see the back of the electrode, try to look into this region. There you will find some kind of numbering, some kind of coding. Try to figure out what is that coding, or go to the lab in charge and ask him to show you the electrode box, the box in which the electrode come. Electrode डब्बों में आते हैं, जैसे माचिस के डब्बे आते हैं ना, से बड़े बड़े डब्बे आते हैं, रेक्टेंगुलर डब्बे इलेक्ट्रोड के, बहुत बड़े भी नहीं, मतलब 50 सेंटीमीटर का लगा. ठीक है, तो उसके अंदर इलेक्ट्रोड्स को देखना, उसकी कोडिंग देखना और फिगर आउट करने की कोशिश करना कि इस कोडिंग का क्या मतलब है. वहीं पर ये टेबल भी हो सकता है गिवन हो, कहीं कहीं इलेक्ट्रोड के बॉक्सेस में टेबल गिवन रहता है, उसमें बता के रखते हैं कि इसका क्या कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट है क्या नहीं है. तो उसका एक फोटो ले लेना, मतलब अगर मन करे तो, और घर आके देखना कि जो नोट्स में पढ़ा था और जो वहां पे है दोनों मैच हो रहा है कि नहीं. होपफुली होएगा मैच. AWS सिस्टम का तो डेफिनेटली होगा. इंडियन स्टैंडर्ड्स का मेरे को पता नहीं कितना, कौन सा स्टैंडर्ड फॉलो होता है नहीं होता है. हमने जो डिस्कस किया वो थिक कोटिंग वाला है, सो थिक कोटिंग वाला इलेक्ट्रोड तुम लोग को मिलेगा कि नहीं ये नहीं पता. ठीक है. And second portion of the electrode, you saw what are the different types of electrode fluxes, you saw what are the functions of the electrode fluxes, and one important thing which you saw is the basicity index, Tuliani equation. So electrode acidic है कि basic है, उससे क्या होगा ये भी पता लग गया, और electrode acidic basic पता कैसे लगा, Tuliani equation ये भी पता लग गया. So this finishes the first topic, welding electrodes, and if there are no more doubts, we'll move on to the next topic.